Hey guys, long overdue video today. We're going to talk about the SHTF handgun or pistol as your main weapon. Now, I did a couple videos a couple years back talking about different systems and the good and bad of using them as your primary system. I think the first one I did was semi-autos, like your AR-15 or your AK-47. Then I did one on shotguns, then I did one on bolt-action rifles and using 22 rifles as your primary weapon. And I wasn't really advocating one is better than the other, even though they all have pros and cons. But that was the whole idea, was to flush out the good and the bad, because I know so many people who watch this channel are very limited on money. They're very limited on what they can do, and we have people who are disabled vets who watch this channel, people who are literally missing limbs. We have people who are young. We have people who are small, large, extra large, in between, with all different kinds of scenarios going on. Let's face it, guys, if you're watching this channel, you're not James Yeager. You don't have some limitless supply of money to train. You don't have a limitless supply of money to buy every firearm you want. It's the real world, and I make these videos for you guys based on kind of what you tell me about your lives. I hear a lot of stories and I try to base them on that. So way long, not my little rant there, but let's talk about the pistol. Why would you want this to be your main weapon? Let's put ourselves in that scenario. You're a young guy, you're just getting into this, you've got enough, you've been saving all year to buy your first weapon. What's it going to be? What are the pros and cons? And you're going to have to wait a while until you can save up to get another, so you got to make it count. Why would you want to go for the pistol over anything else, the shotgun, the AR, any of that? Well, number one, you can get yourself a pretty decent pistol in the $300 to $500 price range. So if you are just starting out, it can be a little easier sometimes to delve into that world with that $350, $400 investment, as opposed to spending $600, $700 plus to get into the AR or AK world. So there is one big bonus there. The biggest bonus I can think of using the handgun and making it your primary weapon is portability. You can carry a handgun on you anywhere and everywhere. Not only just parts of your body, you can wear it in an ankle holster, hip holster, in the waistband, outside of the waistband, shoulder holster, put it in your backpack, your pocket, your cargo jeans, you name it. All kinds of different things you can do as for carrying it on you. But you can carry it pretty much anywhere. Now, there's no way to really predict exactly what kind of shit hits the fan scenarios are going to happen to each and every one of us. We live in different areas, different climates, different disasters, different, all kinds of different things going on. And to try and predict that or understand that is just too difficult. So, as much as I would love and say the AR is the best weapon to have overall, but in reality, say you do have something going on, you need to get out of your house, you need to get some medical supplies or a vaccine or something like that, you can't just go strolling out your door and go to the clinic with an AR strapped on your back. It's just not going to happen, And then likelihood, if people see you with that AR, number one, people may try to confiscate it or take it from you, or they may just shoot you on sight. The pistol, you can hide it, you can conceal it, carry it everywhere in that shit hits the fan scenario. A little easier to get to too. I think having an AR on your back, a pistol on your hip, I think you can get a pistol into action a little quicker than a slung and safety AR. So with that, I like that idea. If you're sitting in your house and shit hits the fan, are you really going to keep the AR in your lap 24/7? No, you're not going to be able to. Say you're cutting wood for your wood stove or something like that. Do you really want that AR hanging off your back or laying on the ground next to you while you're swinging an axe? No, it might be easier just to have that pistol on your belt. In your house as well. This is shit, it's the fan, let's be realistic. There could be gun confiscations. There could be people coming to try and take your guns away from you, your neighbors, your friends, even your family. Concealing a handgun is a lot easier than a large rifle or shotgun for that matter. You can hide these things in little cracks and crevices in your house. They're going to be more difficult to find. You can hide the magazines easier. You can hide everything easier. Hiding a full-size rifle, a little more difficult. People are more likely to find it. So I do like that. You can take these, they're easier to bury in your yard if you gotta, hide them around your property. You know, when shit hits the fan, having a good pistol really is a great idea. You know, of course, pistols, you can use them for hunting, you can use them for self-defense, you can use them for pretty much everything. You know, they're pretty much good, you know, 10 to 20 yards for most people, but some of the more skilled guys out there do shoot up to 100 yards. Ammo is widely available, magazines and all kinds of accessories are available. If you want a flashlight, if you want a laser, you can pretty much get them for most pistols out there. And when you're making your decision, that's what you want to consider. What can I get for holsters? What can I get for flashlights, lasers, anything like that you may need or want to make this the perfect gun for your shit hits the fan scenario. Let's talk about the drawbacks. What's bad about this? Number one, you're a little limited for range. You're really, unless you are an expert, you're not going to be hitting people out beyond 100 yards except by luck. And even then, a lot of the rounds are going to lose a lot of energy by then. They're going to drop really far. It's going to be very difficult out past 100 yards. Close range, dynamite, but you do have that lacking when it comes to range. The second big disadvantage is the amount of training a pistol takes. For those of you who are new to the pistol, it's not TV, guys. You don't just pick these up and start shooting them. There is a little more of a learning curve. They're a little more difficult to master. Anyone can pick up an AR-15, put it to their shoulder, and put a damn good shot down range, even at a pretty good distance. Handgun, on the other matter, a rookie could very easily shoot and miss someone 10 feet in front of them. It's very possible, especially if people flinch, they're not used to the recoil, anything. You know, they jerk that trigger back. Very easy with that short sight base to miss at very close range. And it happens, guys. If you've done any real training, under stress, you know, do a little running, you know, kneeling, jumping, whatever, and then try to fire while you're out of breath and huffing, you can miss very easy, very quickly. So that can be a definite problem, is that. Now, that gets better with training, but that training takes time. Your AR, real easy, long sight base. Same with a shotgun, you got that long sight base. It's a little more difficult to miss at close range with those, whereas this is a very real possibility. Another bad part about these is, of course, capacity. You're not going to have typically 30 round capacities. You're not going to have that. However, you know, most handguns, the magazines are a little more expensive. You know, for example, this Smith & Wesson here, you're talking $40 per magazine. That's not the case. Your average AR, you can spend $8, $9, $10 for a magazine. You can build up a good stockpile. Having a great stockpile of magazines is very difficult. Even a gun like a Glock that is known to have fairly cheap magazines, still, you're talking $20, $25 a pop. So, a little bit of a downfall there. So, overall, guys, like I said, there's some really good points to this, really bad points. If you're looking for something, you know, if your shit hits the fan scenario around you involves you having to maybe just get up and leave at a second's notice, the pistol might be for you. You know, if you're willing to put the time, training, and learning, and being accurate with it, it might be for you. If your family's willing to train and learn, it might be for you. I tell you, it's a lot easier to give someone a .22 rifle and say, hey, shoot this, than it is to hand someone a pistol and expect them to be able to hit a target with it. So, it really does take that niche for this to be right for someone. Now, for me, it's not the best for me, guys. I have a homestead, I've got property. I would be defending that property pretty much to the end. I would much rather stick with a semi-auto or a shotgun if it's me. However, you know, when it comes down to it, if you have money for one gun, you know, the pistol may be the way to go. Like I said, I can't go running down the street with an AR strapped on my back and not expect the National Guard to take notice. So it's definitely things to consider. There's always so much, and I can never predict your individual shit hits the fan scenarios. Someone who lives in Florida has a completely different set of shit hits the fan stuff from people like me who live in New York. You know, we don't have hurricanes. We don't have a lot of those things. In fact, we get very few natural disasters here in New York. We have to worry more about things like nuclear power plants, trains derailing, chemical plants, things like that. So your individual place is different for everybody as to what could possibly happen. So with that all in consideration, you just got to look at your weapon and match it up the best to you. And the pistol is going to be for some, not for everybody. And that's okay, because in reality, you can take that $300 and you have something that you can defend yourself with, that you can hunt with, that you can take on the run, take with you, take a bunch of magazines and keep them in your pocket and be concealed and inconspicuous and be rather successful with. And there's plenty of accessories and all that to help you out along the way. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Bushcraft 412 here with the pistol as the primary weapon in an SHTF scenario.